Imagine a continent where the sun rises over endless savannas, glints off vast mineral-rich mountains, and nourishes rivers teeming with energy potential. That continent is Africa. Often portrayed through a narrow lens of poverty or political instability, what's frequently overlooked is the immense power Africa holds beneath its soil and across its landscape, a power that could redefine the global economy in the coming decades. With over 30% of the world's mineral reserves, including 40% of global gold and up to 90% of platinum and chromium, Africa isn't just resource-rich, it's resource-dominant. Yet, the question remains, why hasn't it translated this vast wealth into economic dominance? To understand the hidden power of Africa, we need to look deeper into its natural endowments. Take the Democratic Republic of Congo, for instance. This one country alone holds more than 50% of the world's cobalt reserves. Cobalt is a critical component in lithium-ion batteries, which power everything from smartphones to electric vehicles. As the global push for clean energy and electric transportation accelerates, demand for cobalt, and by extension, dependence on Africa, will soar. It's not just cobalt. Africa is a treasure chest of rare earth elements, copper, bauxite, manganese, and phosphate, all critical for building renewable energy infrastructure, electronics, and advanced technologies. Then there's oil and gas. Nigeria, Angola, Algeria, and Libya have long been major players in the global energy sector. With recent discoveries in Senegal, Mozambique, and Namibia, the continent's role in global energy could see a resurgence. In an era where energy security is paramount, Africa's reserves provide a strategic buffer to a world increasingly wary of relying too heavily on any single region. As the world pivots between fossil fuels and renewables, Africa is uniquely positioned with an abundance of both. But it's not just underground wealth that makes Africa powerful. The continent boasts the world's second largest rainforest, the Congo Basin, a crucial carbon sink in the fight against climate change. The immense biodiversity across Africa isn't just valuable from an environmental perspective. It holds pharmaceutical potential that could lead to breakthrough medicines and bio-innovations. Moreover, Africa's arable land accounts for 60% of the world's uncultivated fertile land, meaning it could become the future breadbasket of the planet. As global populations rise and food security becomes a pressing concern, Africa's agricultural potential stands as a global asset. Water, the lifeblood of any economy, is also in abundance in many regions. The Nile, Congo, Niger, and Zambezi rivers have vast hydroelectric potential. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, for example, has already begun reshaping regional energy dynamics. If fully harnessed, Africa's renewable energy, hydro, solar, wind, and geothermal could not only power the continent, but also provide surplus energy exports to Europe and beyond. In fact, projects like the Desertec Initiative once imagined transmitting solar energy from the Sahara to Europe, underscoring Africa's potential as a green energy powerhouse. Of course, having resources is one thing. Controlling and benefiting from them is another. For decades, Africa's natural wealth has been extracted by foreign entities under unequal terms, leading to the so-called resource curse. Corruption, poor infrastructure, political instability, and lack of value-added processing have meant that the true economic benefits rarely stay within African borders. Raw materials are often exported, only to be re-imported as finished goods at higher prices. This has historically kept Africa at the lower end of the global value chain. However, things are changing. Countries like Botswana have shown how resource wealth can be managed responsibly. By demanding local beneficiation of diamonds and fostering partnerships with companies like De Beers, Botswana has created jobs, grown its middle class, and reinvested in national development. Ghana is pushing for greater control of its gold sector. Nigeria is revamping its oil and gas regulatory framework to attract better investment while retaining local benefits. And there's a growing movement across the continent to renegotiate mining contracts, demand local content, and establish sovereign wealth funds to secure long-term prosperity. Technology is also shifting the balance. With better data analytics, satellite mapping, and AI, African nations now have more tools than ever to accurately assess their resource base and plan extraction responsibly. Digital payment systems, blockchain for supply chain transparency, and mobile banking are empowering local entrepreneurs to tap into sectors once dominated by foreign giants. This democratization of access and information is key to unlocking the continent's hidden power. Demographics further amplify Africa's potential. By 2050, the continent's population is expected to double to over 2.5 billion, with the youngest median age in the world. This youthful energy could be a demographic dividend, fueling a labor force ready to drive manufacturing, services, and innovation. If paired with education, infrastructure, and investment, this workforce could transform Africa from a resource supplier to a manufacturing and tech hub. Pan-African collaboration is another major shift. The African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, is creating the largest free trade zone in the world, with the potential to boost intra-African trade by over 50%. This means raw materials can be processed closer to their source, creating local industries and value chains. By trading more with each other, African countries can reduce their dependency on external markets and become more resilient to global shocks. Global demand patterns are also playing into Africa's favor. As the West, China, and India race to secure green energy resources, Africa becomes a strategic partner. The European Union's Green Deal and Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism could incentivize cleaner industrial practices on the continent. China's Belt and Road Initiative continues to pour infrastructure investment into African countries, albeit with increasing scrutiny and calls for transparency. Meanwhile, the United States and other global powers are recognizing that economic partnerships with Africa are not just moral imperatives, but strategic necessities. Yet, with opportunity comes risk. The scramble for resources can ignite conflict, as seen in the Sahel and Eastern Congo. Climate change could undermine agricultural gains and displace millions. Urbanization without planning could stress already fragile infrastructures. And unless African leaders prioritize inclusive governance, there's a danger that resource wealth could once again benefit a few while marginalizing the many. But Africa has a choice, and a powerful one at that. The path to dominance isn't just about extracting more, it's about transforming more. By investing in local industries, prioritizing education, enforcing fair contracts, and embracing green technology, Africa can move from being the world's quarry to being its engine of innovation. Countries like Rwanda and Kenya are already showing what's possible with good governance and tech-forward strategies. Ultimately, Africa's hidden power lies not only in its natural resources, but in its ability to reimagine how those resources are used. In a world transitioning to new energy systems, new technologies, and new economic models, Africa isn't just a player, it could be the game changer. The question is no longer whether Africa has the resources to dominate the global economy. It's whether the global economy is ready for an Africa that fully understands and asserts its power. The winds are shifting, the ground is rich, and the future might just rise from the very soil of the continent too often underestimated.